Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Sunday morning. Sunday, October 26th. Wow, wow, wow. Time passes too fast. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. Drink it if you got it. Oh, I got this big tub of coffee here today. My daughter bought me this cup. Did y'all have a nice day off yesterday? I kind of did. I didn't get a great night's sleep last night, though. That's so much on my mind. Basically, because of yesterday. What I'm trying to figure out, guys, today is not a lecture, okay? Once again, I'm completely and totally misunderstood by the same people. Fortunately, it's only about 5% of the people that watch me and comment. But it's the same 5 people. And like everything else, I try to make everybody happy. So I try to take it all seriously. But it all comes down to extremely vocal people who have many opinions about me and don't mind throwing suggestions my way about what I need to do and how I need to change, and maybe you should do it this way and maybe you should do it that way. And that's okay. I mean, honest to God, guys, I'm open to any suggestions. But over this past week, if you add it all up, I probably made hours of lectures addressing exactly what you're telling me. Explaining my reasons, very personal reasons in many cases, about exactly why I do it the way I do it. I throw embarrassment to the curb. I tell you about how deeply I've psychoanalyzed myself, and I understand the reasons why I may do these things. And that in the final analysis, I'm a good guy. And then I get comments from people that I like, that I assumed really like me. And what did the comments tell me? And this is the ironic part. The comments tell me, after hours and hours and hours of talking, that you haven't heard a word I've said, not a single word, or not a complete thought from beginning to end, not even a complete sentence. Why? Because you're doing exactly the thing that I'm trying to figure out how to get you to stop doing. Interrupting me, annoying me, not listening to me, and focusing on your friends, chatting about trivia and nonsense when I'm trying to help people. And trying to make me feel like I'm being unreasonable for asking you, or feel guilty about the fact that I'm taking away your forum for chatting with your friends while I'm trying to do something in the background and it's annoying you. Now, how does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? Now, a couple of the people who gave me that kind of comment are extremely well known to all of us and well liked by all of us, and I like them. And I don't want to fight anymore. I just don't want to fight anymore about it. I don't want to fight with Rick. I don't want to be the sum total subject of Rick's live streams every Saturday morning. I don't want to go on there because I find them entertaining. I sit and watch and have to find out that all the talk is about me, about what I need to change, about how Rick thinks that I apologize. For some way, I apologized to him because I was wrong. And he's milking that for all it's worth. And what? Put it behind you, Rick. That's all. Put it behind you. I want to put it behind me. I wasn't wrong. I didn't apologize. Honest to God, I didn't apologize. I said I was sorry for maybe being on the trigger and overreacting. I never said what I was overreacting to wasn't a real thing. And the one teeny little mistake I made with Rick, and I felt bad about it, rectified it immediately, was that my hair trigger responded to a comment that he made right in the middle of what I was trying to ask him to do, basically where he said, I'm not changing, F you. That's how I interpreted it. And I hit him from the channel, and Rick has made it his reason to be a victim. Reason to be a victim. And poor Rick. And everybody feels sorry for Rick because Mitch was such a meanie. I stopped playing games like this in the third grade, people. I watched his entire live stream yesterday. I made 4 entries in the chat. 1, to let him know I was here. 2, to let him know I was still here hours later. To say hi to Ellen, who said hi to me, and one other one. But that was it. That was it. I don't go into any of your chats. I don't even watch any of your live streams anymore. Now, I should be flattered that everybody's so focused on me. That's great. But when I start to become the clown. So I stayed awake all last night. And I said, I was trying to make a decision. Not to quit YouTube, but to change my channel name. And those of you who, and continue to try to help you under a different thing, and those of you with completely new rules and completely new formats of live streams and everything else, no more morning coffee, which will answer John Beatty's suggestion today that I redo my intro with a drip coffee maker instead of a Keurig. And the answer to that, John, is that may be totally irrelevant anyway, since I may not be having morning coffee with Mitch after today. I didn't want to come on here today and do this again. I did it every day last week. People are not getting the message. The people that are not getting the message are the ones that are causing the problems that I'm trying to fix. I desperately want to fix the problem because so many of you write me so many glorious messages about how much you've been helped by something I said. That's not an ego boost for me. That's just a validation that all this hard work is paying off for somebody, and I'm trying to figure out how I can keep doing it without the stress and grief and angst and anxiety from the people that are constantly complaining about the way I do things. And I keep, and the frustrating part is I keep saying, if you don't like the way I do things, don't watch. Go away. There are other places to come here and have inane chats about stupid things with your friends and distract me. It's not so much to ask, and I use an analogy, that imagine if I was a lecturer in a lecture hall, would you disrupt the entire class, and would the teacher put up, well, right away everybody assumes all I want to do is lecture. I got a comment this morning, broke my heart, that said, wait a minute, let me read it to you. I'm not going to tell you who said it, but let me read it to you. Let me find it here. And you tell me what I'm supposed to do with a comment like this. Let's see. Okay, I'm not going to tell you who this was. I don't want to embarrass anybody. Mitch, I've only watched your last few lives on replay because I want to be able to participate via the chat in the community. Since you have asked us not to chat, when have I asked you not to put entries in the chat? I have asked you that when we're talking about something or I'm trying to go through a complete thought, that you not fill up with the chat with 50 entries about inane, stupid things that have nothing to do with what I'm saying, because it distracts me, and it distracts me because I try desperately not to ignore anybody. Since you have asked us not to chat, there is no point in coming in live. My suggestion is, if you want to lecture, then just make these talking videos and upload them and not do live streams. Those wish to be lectured can watch the pre-recorded videos. So let me get this straight. If I want to come on here and I want to talk about I want to interact with you, which is why we do a live stream, and I don't just lecture. I want to stay on topic, not have nobody pay attention to me. That I think I can be more effective when I do interact, if a relevant question or a relevant clarification of maybe what we're talking about comes up, and people put QQQ in the chat and they say, okay, you just said this, but I don't understand. Can you, that I'm not supposed to do that? I'm just supposed to talk at you when I want to talk about these things with you? If that was the case, why do colleges even have lecture halls? Why are there classrooms? Why are there even teachers? Why are there not just AI videos for everybody to learn from? You know, Jeff Johnson. See, we have some very brilliant people here this morning saying, I got that. You did not ask us not to chat. I want human, considerate, meaningful, on-topic interaction. Yes, Jeff, thank you so much. I couldn't have said it better myself. Robbie Audrey says, your show, your rules. I don't want to have rules. I just want to have decorum. I just don't want to sit up here and work as hard as I work and put this time in for basically free, by the way. You guys want to pay me enough, you can do anything you want. You pay me $100 an hour, I'll just sit here and talk, and you can have a party. I don't care. Now, the purpose of the Sunday morning live stream was to do just that. And the purpose of our private community live stream is to do just that. It's a party. Chat about anything you like. Ignore us. We're going to have a panel, people on the screen. Just ignore us. Chat away. This is your place, your time. Why? Because I don't have an agenda this morning other than to have fun, be a ray of sunshine, and everybody just have a happy Sunday. But I got that comment, was the first comment I saw this morning. Now let me read you the last comment I got last night. Okay? The last comment I got like that last night came in 10 hours ago. The one that I just read to you came in after I went to bed. So I went to bed with this on my mind. I just want to show you what this is like. And I don't need this in my life. I don't need any of this. This is causing me stress, frustration. And that's why I react to Rick. That's why I react to Rick. Here's what I got last night. Just one long lecture on how disobedient subscribers should be quiet while in class. These are the people who love you and look to you for help every day. Huh? Let me get this straight. People they love me. It's great to be loved. They look for my help every day, which means you obviously think that something I'm doing is helping somebody. But I get a little flustered when I get evidence that nobody's hearing a word I'm saying and I'm wasting my time. What's the takeaway from that? And that's what I went to bed with on my mind last night. A paradox. A paradox. Something makes absolutely no sense. That somebody thought they needed to write down so that I would read it. And you know what my mistake is? My mistake, and the reason that you don't hear this same kind of angst coming from every other YouTuber out there, maybe I'm the only guy that has a channel this size that actually cares enough to not want to ignore anybody and read all the comments. And I'm not a masochist. So my lack of sleep last night was sandwiched on both ends by two comments. One of these comments is somebody that is in the chat right now. So you can see that I'm a considerate and caring individual. I'm not going to embarrass you by mentioning your name. I never mentioned the name of people who chatted. But both of these chats were from regular viewers of mine. Neither one of them indicated that any of you have heard a word I've said. So what's the answer, Mitch? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with this? You tell me. So that's what I want to talk about this morning. So I'm going to put a link in the, and that almost a lead up to the panel this morning. So there's a link to the chat this morning, and I'm not mad. I'm puzzled. I want to do this, and I want to do it where people don't complain about every move I make. Just enjoy it. I want to help you. And if you don't enjoy it, nobody forces you to be here or comment about it. And certainly, the last thing in the world I want is for you to try to fix me. Listen, friends, I'm unfixable. I've told you my life story 10 times. I've told you why I'm so broken and damaged. But that doesn't mean I'm not brilliant. So, this is it. Love it or leave it. But don't come in here and tell me you love it and then find fault with it, thinking that there's something I can do to change at this point. And I'm a logical person. I'm a logical person. When things don't compute, it makes me crazy. And none of this computes. None of this computes because I've done nothing mean to any of you. Even you, Rick. Even you, Rick. So, you may not want to come in here to the chat this morning. I don't see everybody diving in which case, we'll make it a short morning, and I'll just talk about what I think are the answers. But I'd like to hear some suggestions from you, but not in the chat. That's the beauty of Sunday morning. The reason I want to do these live panel things is because that way I can interact with you guys, and I don't have to pay attention to the chat. In fact, that's one of the things I kind of thought about last night in my night of sleeplessness. I said, maybe I should just have like open house, kind of things. We do it on Thursday night, and I should just tell people, you want to talk, you want to be included in this conversation, come on in, like a Zoom call. But if you're just going to sit out there and watch and chat with each other, I'm not going to pay attention to you, so don't get your feelings hurt if I don't say hello. And I don't think that's unreasonable. Because where else do you go that, like in a channel my size, where everybody acknowledges, I try to acknowledge and make everybody feel welcome. That's my fault. That's my mistake. But, sorry. Well, nobody's here yet. So here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. You're going to boycott me this morning? That's okay. You don't want to come in this morning. You're still sitting around in your pajamas. That's okay, too. But I'm going to keep doing this stuff, Morning Coffee with Mitch, for the time being, with a few changes. And I want to show you what they are, or what they're going to be. And if you don't like it, I have to do this because I just can't deal with these kind of comments anymore. So I have a choice. I either stop reading the comments completely and ignore them all, stop putting the chat up on the stream. Oh, here comes the voice of reason. Hi, Tina. And Peter's here too. Okay. Great. Good. I have no issues with... Where did Tina go? She disappeared. Tina, I was so happy to see you. You're a voice of sanity and reason in my life. Come back, come back. Your connection evidently dropped. Peter's here. I'll get to you in a second. Okay, I was going to go over. Oh, here comes Stevie. Good. I was going to go over what my thoughts were, but I'll go over with you guys, and I want to hear your opinion. And I think it's important that everybody if they're indeed paying attention, which I would hope they would be, will know that I'm not just a dictator, one to try to make everybody feel bad with stupid rules. I don't make rules. I don't like rules. My motto is no rules, just right. But I can't keep doing it this way, guys. I cannot. It's causing me too much angst, too much stress, which is bad for my health. So the decision for me, after trying desperately to, even if half of the people have to go away, to get people to come here because it's my show, it's my deal, because you want to interact with me, that you have a million other places to interact with each other and talk about trivia and interrupt me and make me follow your stupid, childish conversations. Well, I'm trying to help people who have real problems with real solutions, and you are distracting me. And I can't do it like that. I can't do it like that. And I just want you to go away. But I don't want to have to hide you or ban you. Because then I'm the mean man, that mean man. I don't know, and the problem is that this is perplexing me is that many of you are members of our private community. And I always thought that was my last bastion of sanity, and turned to find out it's not. Okay. Peter.
Uh-oh, is it just me?
No, Tina's here too. And Tina's laughing her ass off. She's shaking her head. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I knew you would, Tina. Yeah, I'll get to you in a second. Let me just say hi to Peter and drink because in reality, that's me right there. That's who I am. I want to be happy all the time. I don't want to have this nonsense. So Peter, you and I know that, because you and I went through it.
Oh yeah, I know the frustrations.
Yeah, but you know that when you first came in here, I pegged you as a glory hound, self-aggrandizing, corporate ladder climbing, and I pretty much got the impression that you went from channel to channel and filled up the chat with your own advice. And I told you about it. I called you on it. And you didn't even realize you were doing it, really. You were just trying to help people. Okay? And I said, okay, Peter, now I know. So, and then you came up here a couple of times. We got to know each other. And as I got to know you, I now think I was completely wrong. I admitted I was completely wrong. But how many of us are completely right in our first impressions of anything?
Right.
Not many. So Peter doesn't hold it against me.
No, that's. I mean, I understand you, Mitch. I mean, I do. You're a different bird than anybody else. You know.
Oh, thank you.
You know that. I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah, I strive to be different. I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't like everybody else, Peter. I think they're all misled.
But I will tell you, and I've been accused of this, and there's even a guy at work at my new job that I'm a kind of polarizing figure. I've always been that way, where, whatever, 50% of the people, I don't know what the percentage is, really love me. And then there's that other half that just, they don't get me and they hate me. And sometimes over time they learn to go, oh my God, I misunderstood, like you did. You misunderstood me. And you know what I mean? And they come around and they go, wow, I really love Pete. But boy, I hated him in the beginning, whatever. And that's always been my personality. I don't know what it is, but there's a guy at work. You know, I try and be nice to this guy. I've never done a damn thing to him, but he constantly is like F's with me, you know, and I am the rookie at the job. You know, I'm the rookie. And maybe, I don't know what it is, but he picks on me. You know what I mean? And finally, I just had to shoot back at him. And I said, dude, you know, I just had to kind of back him off, you know, which I don't like to do that. You know what I mean? I don't like to be mean. But I said, you know what? Just don't talk to me. If you don't like me, just don't talk to me. But I'm not going to talk to you.
That's the attitude that comes out of me.
Yeah.
When I say, leave me alone.
Right.
If you don't like me, if you want to change everything about me, just go somewhere else, will you please? Stop with the criticisms. You know, I watched Rick's entire live stream yesterday. It was about me.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, and here's the part that isn't puzzling to me, because I have Rick psychoanalyzed down to a T.
Mm-hmm.
I understand every word out of his mouth and what part of his personality it comes from. His inability to be emotional about anything is a symptom, okay? But I like Rick, and Rick has never, and I respect Rick, and Rick's never gone out of his way to be mean to me or to insult me.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So that's why I realized, and I'm the first guy that can admit if I make a mistake. But Rick, don't get me wrong, buddy. Don't get me wrong. I didn't apologize for the reasons why I banned you. I only apologized for the speed and the overreaction that happened. And then I took a long time and tried to explain to people why I'm so friggin' touchy. Okay? Hi, Tina. How you doing?
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Tina.
Good to see you. Oh, I'm great. I'm really great.
It's a glorious day to be alive.
It is. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Tina, I think we need to hear some of your words of wisdom.
Oh, my. You do not know. You do not want to hear what's going on in my head.
Oh, we do.
I've been watching this bullshit for 5 or 6 weeks. I quit watching because of Rick and all that nonsense. I quit interjecting. I was watching and listening and shaking my head and cussing the whole time. Like, are we in kindergarten here? I mean, what the hell? It's Mitch's house. It's Mitch's channel. It's Mitch's life. It's about Mitch.
Yeah.
And all of this, I had to, and here's what I would do. I would listen for a little while and I'd stop, but then I'd go back and continue watching like the replay so that I didn't see all the comments. Because when I go back into the replay, you can't see the comments because the comments have been off the charts. They've been ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 70 years old. I went through all that crap years ago. And I'm like you, Peter. I'm a woman who I was the boss for many years of a truck, Volvo truck center, where we sold big trucks.
Yep.
And I had a bunch of men under me, and I had to take a lot of crap every day.
Right.
And I had to learn to stand up for myself and just tell them to go get fucked off because I wasn't going to deal with it. And I don't have a problem at all with Mitch standing up for himself and telling it like it is, because he's the one who puts the time in this. He's the one who's at his house with all that equipment and all that stuff he buys just so he can talk to people, not
Right.
be alone all the time, and have a relationship with people who think the same way we do. I'm only going to say a couple more things and then I'll be quiet. If you've got
No, you
anybody
can talk the rest of the day. I'm loving it. Keep going.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
you are.
Yes.
And listen, at the same time that all that crap was going on with the childish shit, you've got all this food noise at all these other channels. And I heard what you said, Mitch, about watching all these other channels, and I got guilty of it because crap was coming into me. We need to add this and we need to add that. Well, guess what? I did it. I added back in like yogurt. I did fry some onion in my hamburger and put some chili powder on it just to give me some additional flavor. And guess what happened? I got food poisoning 3 weeks ago. It knocked the hell out of me. I'm almost 70, and even though I'm strong and I work out every day and I do this and blah, 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 well, let me tell you something. I learned a lesson because it took me 7 days after 24 hours of puking and the other end. I won't get too disgusting, but it really tore me up.
Yeah.
And did I learn a lesson?
What do you think?
I don't have any of those issues if I stick to what I'm supposed to stick to. I didn't gain no weight. As a matter of fact, the week that I was so sick, I lost 5 pounds, but that isn't how I wanted to lose 5 pounds.
No, that's a hell of a way to lose weight.
Tina, do you think it was the yogurt or was it the onions or what?
I think it was the yogurt.
Oh, wow.
I think it was the yogurt. It was a yogurt that had been in the refrigerator, but I didn't really look at the date, but it had pumpkin spice in it.
Oh.
And I had it at nighttime. I didn't cook. I didn't prepare my food. Like I said, I've been listening to all this other food noise, carnivore-ish, all this stuff. And I don't think it was the onion at all because of what come up first.
Right.
And it really, I was in bed for multiple days. I lost all my energy. It wore me out. I was sore because I listened to all this noise.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I hadn't had yogurt in over a year.
Wow.
Well,
it's funny. I did add a little bit of whole milk Greek yogurt from Aldi. Just a little. I didn't have a lot, but it was fresh and it didn't bother me at all.
If you look, I'm not a policeman on carnivore. I eat a little bit of dark chocolate. It's like 2 grams of carbs with my coffee in the morning.
Right.
That doesn't bother me at all.
That's fine.
It doesn't kick off anything. It's dark chocolate. It doesn't kick off anything.
Right.
It's literally not much bigger than a quarter.
Yeah.
And I just kind of stuck on it with my coffee.
And remember, Tina, everyone's different. You know what that would have done to me? I don't even have to tell Mitch what that would have done to me.
Oh, Peter would have been a FedEx truck in front of his house delivering 50 pounds of chocolate.
And I am blessed, but I just don't have that.
That's why we're different.
I went out to dinner last night, and the couple that was sitting next to me, I just had a half of a baked chicken. That's what I had.
Yeah.
A half of a chicken. I asked the guy how it was cooked, and he said, well, it's sous vide. I said, great. So it was excellent. I just put salt on it, plucked at it with my fork. I'm in a nice restaurant, and the people next to me, within like 2 feet, the tables are very close.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you for a second.
Sure.
Ernie Earhart just put in the chat, dark chocolate helps with insulin resistance.
Really?
That my first thought was, according to who?
And on the basis of what?
And on the basis of what?
Yeah.
And where did you hear it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And just the fact that you put that statement in this chat, and other people are going to read it, is going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt somebody.
That, like me.
Like Peter. Because, and that's where we have to be careful. And that is absolutely a perfect illustration of my point. If the experts, the quote experts out there, can't agree and keep putting out this crap with no basis in fact, which is how we got into this mess, because the doctors put out this crap, and you're supposed to think that they know what they're doing. Please don't, unless you can back up what you're saying, at least on my channel, and if you can't back up what you're saying with provable, believable, randomized controlled trials, we can't even define what insulin resistance is. It is not a disease. It's a construct. It's a symptom. It's a theory. If you can't define what insulin resistance even is, how can you extrapolate out of it from somewhere that dark chocolate is good for it? That is the inane thinking. I'm not picking on you, Ernie. You heard that from somebody who probably is considered an authority, so you just took it for what it is. And that's the reason we're in the mess. And here comes poor old Mitch that finds the illogic in every illogical statement, the bullshit in everything anybody says, the agendas behind the bullshit, understands it, and tries to inject some common sense, and people find fault with me for doing that. And that's frustrating as hell, and makes me want to take, believe me, guys, makes me want to take my football and go home.
Let me say one thing and make it perfectly clear. I don't eat my little tiny bit of dark chocolate because it's good for me, healthy, this, that, or the other. I eat it because I freaking like it.
There you go. And that's
I enjoy
okay.
it, and it matches up good with my coffee, my black.
Yeah, that's great. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is stop making these insane rules that are meaningless, that might help somebody, but other people don't need to worry about. Just find, and I came up with a new term, or a new applicable term, the other day, and that's going to be the focus of my channel going forward. I registered the domain name, by the way, carbaddictionhelp.com.
Oh, nice.
Carbaddictionhelp.com. Okay, I got the domain name. If you put it in your browser now, OldGuyCarnivore site will come up, because I haven't made the website for that yet. But it takes people, and then on the OldGuyCarnivore website, I put a big tagline right at the top: Carb Addiction Help, methods and techniques or strategies or something like that. And other than that, nothing changed yet. But that's going to be the focus of my new message going forward. I'm convinced, and I keep talking about this, that it's all about carb addiction and nothing else. Well, it's about how bad ultra-processed foods are, and how addicted, and how the food companies have used top scientists to engineer the addictiveness of these foods, playing to our addictions, and they've won. And we're all addicts now. Nobody wants to admit it. Nobody thinks it's a real problem like alcoholism. It's 10 times the problem alcoholism is, maybe 100 times, and maybe 1,000 times the problem that drug addiction is, because carb addiction really affects, well, what's the percent of the U.S. population that's metabolically ill now? What are the estimates? 92%? Peter, you heard that? 92%?
Yeah, something like that.
Chafee uses that on his channel as a number.
Yeah.
I've heard it elsewhere that 92%, I've heard 88% of people are metabolically unwell. Okay.
It's sad.
Well, the reason they're metabolically unwell is because they can't stop eating the addictive crap. Because they're addicts. Come on now. How far of a stretch is that? Putting two and two together. They all want to stop eating the crap, don't they? Peter? Don't you think people who are sick want to lose weight, want to get better, want to stop eating the junk food, want to go on diets?
Most of them, but there are some that just don't care.
Well, there's some of them that never got the word either.
Yeah. It's sad, but you're right, Tina. There's some that they just keep putting that stuff in their mouth, and they're not gonna. They don't. They know it's bad. That was me. I knew it was bad, but I was just so addicted. I just did it.
There you go. But let me requalify that. What percentage of people who are searching YouTube for solutions to their health problems aren't carb addicts? They do care. They care enough to go looking for the answer.
Right.
It's high. It's astronomical. The only way to fix this big time is and on an individual self-help basis, because the government's not going to fix it. Nobody's coming to save you. Ken Berry says that, and I believe that. You have to fix it for yourself. And so that means you personally have to go someplace and find out the things that you need to do. You can't, because they're never going to take away Coca-Cola. The big deal right now you keep hearing, which you don't hear enough about, is because of the government shutdown, they've had to take the SNAP benefits off the table. Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. Keyword, nutritional.
Yeah, have you ever been behind somebody with that?
Well, it's not that. Have you ever read the statistics? $9 billion of SNAP benefits last year were used to purchase Coca-Cola and sweet soft drinks.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck is that nutritional assistance? These people are addicts. Have you seen the TikTok videos from these big, fat, entitled women screaming that we can't take their SNAP benefits away? You're going to start a civil war if you take my SNAP. We're going to go to the stores and we're going to steal the stuff if you won't pay for it. I won't mention what color all of these women were, but all I can say is that let's call them the entitled class, all right? Let's call them the entitled class, because I don't want to be a racist here, but, and I'm sure it's not 100%, but everyone they showed, and I've seen plenty of them. Okay, I've seen plenty of them, but they're threatening to don't stand in our way. We'll run over you. Every other word of that stuff was an attitude. The heads were going like back and forth like they do, and we're gonna kill you. Try to take our SNAP benefits away, and they're talking to American taxpayers who are footing the bill, and they're buying Coca-Cola with this money. Meanwhile, they weigh 300 pounds. This is the irony of it. See, these are the things I notice. They're 400 pounders. Obviously, they're not starving to death. Okay? Probably got a Cadillac Escalade outside. They all got cell phones because, hell, they're making videos for social media. They can afford all that shit. But I got to pay for your poison and your food because you're entitled? Really? Well, they really believe that. And they're going to riot, they're going to loot, because the American taxpayers. And why is it? Why at the heart of it, and I hate the politics of it, but why is it at the heart of it? It's because the political party that they support is using them as useful idiots to create trouble. It isn't the Republicans that caused us to shut down. And that makes it so maddening. And that is another thing that makes me want to just ditch the world completely. I can't do anything. I could do one little tiny thing, and that is come in here maybe in the morning and help a couple of people because of what I learned. I hate to die. That's why we do these things. It's called legacy. I hate to die right now. I figured it out. I know the answers. I help myself. That's my proof. Overcome a carb addiction that controlled my life. It's easy, but nobody's telling you how to do it, and it's not one size fits all. And I came up with the concept of a addiction spectrum, and I think that's where the answer for this lies. You have to identify, just like autism, you have to identify where you exist on the spectrum, and the proper course of action for you will be wildly different. Only a certain subset of carb addicts need to be carnivore. And if they are carnivore because it's trendy or they want to be part of the club, it doesn't mean they're getting real benefit out of it. Most of the people in this world that are 90 and 100 years old today are not carnivore. I mean, that's a fact. They're not carnivore. They probably eat their share of animal protein and eggs and red meat, and probably don't eat a lot of junk food, and there's certainly rules for that. But they're not carb addicts. And the reason that they can eat a Mediterranean diet is they've never taken the poison so long they got addicted to it. Just the same reason I'm not a cocaine addict. I've never tried cocaine. How could I possibly ever be addicted to a substance I never tried? But if that substance was part of my life every day, all day for 35 years, it's going to have its hold on me. And the way I have to solve my problem is going to be different than the person who's never tasted sugar. All right, at any rate, that's the future truth of this channel, and that's what I want to do. Carb addiction help.
So let me ask you a question. I'm going to open Pandora's box right now, okay?
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Can I open Pandora's box, Mitch?
Well, yeah, you can. Let me bring Rick is here. Hi, Rick. Let me bring Rick in. Rick's
that's
wondering,
good.
Mitch is not going to let me in today. No, Rick,
Oh.
I'd never do that for you. Say good morning.
Good morning.
All right, man. The radio voice is there.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
He fixed his... Rick, tell him about your $9 part that fixed the sound.
Yes, when I was working, I went to computer, what is that place called? Micro Center, and they had a USB sound card. And basically, it was a little tiny thing, and it has an output that you can plug your headphones into as a monitor, and then it has the microphone input. I had an incompatibility with the version of Linux I was using, and the driver wouldn't load properly. I put this in here. It detected it as a generic device, and it works beautifully.
Good.
So,
sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. You were having some problems there for a while. All right, Peter, what were you going to say? You were going to make a point.
What I was going to say is, is there a way, I don't know, because I don't know how YouTube, maybe Rick and Mitch know this. Is there a way to allow you to do a lecture and not have the chat on while you lecture, and then open up the chat in midstream for people to come, to comment?
Peter, it's as if.
Yeah.
As if I actually talked to you about this in advance and said, Peter, at some point during this, I want you to ask this question. And I want to make it clear now that I never did that with Peter.
No, I haven't talked to you at all.
But this is on my screen right now, which I'm going to show everyody.
Yeah.
Is the answer to your question.
Because I don't know how it works.
Well, I'm going to show you. You're. I don't want to call you psycho, but I'll call you psychic. How's that? You're psychic.
Okay.
You read my mind. No, honest, you read my mind. So let me get back to, let me do this and make me big. And let me go over to this screen here where you can see all that. And stream customization. These are my options that I can turn on or off. And I can turn them on or off, even during a stream.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this says live chat. If I unclick this, the live chat is turned off now, and it won't work. If I click it again, it will work. But if I click it, I got to type save before the change takes effect. So I can turn the live chat on and off. Live chat replay. I can decide whether the chat shows up in the replays. I have elected. I always used to have that turned on. I do not turn it on now. The chat is not an integral part of why people would want to watch my replay. If they are watching for that, that's like watching a replay of a party that you missed. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not going to, I don't want that to be a distraction. If somebody's using my replay, I want them to listen to me. At least I think I do them more good. I don't care what they do. They can go away. They can not watch it in the first place. They can unsubscribe. But I don't play it back. So live chat replay. And Rick, in case you don't know where this is in the studio, when you go in to look at your replay, here is lives, and you click the little edit button right there, and it takes you to the page where you put in a title and the thing. Over on the left, there's a thing says customization. You click that, and it takes you to this page. And that's where you can turn off the stupid leaderboard.
And you can
number one, number two, number
is that
three.
How you figured out how to do
No,
that?
no, it's not how I figured it out. They finally caved and put it in there. I saw it the first day it showed up. I saw it because
it wasn't there originally.
No, and the default used to be that the live chat replay was off. So I wanted it on my live stream, so I had to go to this page every time I created a live stream and make sure I checked that on. So I got used to coming to this page as part of creating a live stream.
Are you saying the default now is not to have that ranking system?
No. The default has always been on live chat replay is to have it off, and if you want it, you have to turn it on.
No, I'm saying if you do a live video, a live stream,
yeah,
is it automatically there and you have to turn it off every time for every live you do?
No, you have to turn it on if you want it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Live chat summary is there. I don't want it. I don't want that. And the leaderboard is there. I don't want that. So all I'm left with is the live chat. Now, we have more things. Participant modes. Who can participate in the chat? Who's allowed to type in the chat? Anyone? Subscribers only? Members only? Or people that we've pre-approved? Well, that's a little draconian. I really am not trying to force people to become members. I was thinking about maybe a way to tone it down would be to limit it to people who are actually subscribers to this channel. Because if you're not a subscriber, I'm not interested in hearing what you're saying, and I certainly don't want you disrupting the class, you know? What do you think?
Didn't it say when I went to your channel, it said that only subscribers of a certain number of minutes or something?
Yeah, that's because I was playing with the settings this morning and I didn't realize it, but as I was playing with the settings, it kept putting messages in the chat. Mitch, turn this on. Mitch, turn this off. I was just experimenting, so ignore all that stuff.
I did see that.
Yeah.
That was
so here's the
on.
deal. Here's the deal. I set these up in advance, so I think from here on out, what I'm going to do is say only subscribers. If I click this,
yeah,
can chat, and if you want to chat and it won't let you, go subscribe to the channel.
Right.
I mean,
and
don't you agree, Rick? Same thing. Somebody doesn't care enough of you to subscribe to your channel. What the hell? Why would I want to hear from them?
Exactly.
And there's also a time limit you can add.
I'm getting to it. There's a lot of choices here.
Yeah.
Minimum subscribe time. a day, 1 day. In other words, you 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk unless you subscribed yesterday. That way, you can't just jump in, wait 5 minutes, wait 10 minutes, and then start interrupting everybody else. You want to be a participant in my channel. You have a reason for being here other than to just disrupt things. You're not a troll. Now, all these things are put in to give us a way to keep the trolls out. And they work. I mean, they're effective. But they serve other purposes too, especially for me when I'm trying to make the chat more meaningful and less distracting and more on topic. And that's the real thing that gripes so many people. This is a free country. I have free speech. I'm entitled to be able to say whatever I want, wherever I want, interrupt anything I want, and you can't stop me. And they don't understand at all what they're talking about. And YouTube gives us these tools. Okay, thank you,
All right.
YouTube. So we got subscribers only who have been subscribers for at least a day. That's not
Right.
unreasonable, is it?
No, I think that's fine.
Okay, and then we come down and we have a thing. The other was members. No, I think that'd be a little restrictive.
No.
No, and I think that's reasonable. At least be a subscriber before you start disrupting me, pissing me off, finding fault with me. I mean, I have that right. And then they have the thing called live reactions, which is useless and another gimmick. Now, message delay. This is the one I want to ask your opinion on because I think it's a cool thing. And Rick, you prompted this. And I love you, Rick, okay? You really know I love you, okay? But the one day where you really pissed me off and prompted me to do the dirty deed, the day before that, there was a user in there called Babs. Remember Babs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes, you and Babs created 50 chat entries, which just set me off. I'm sorry. There's nothing anybody needs to say that requires 50 entries in the middle of me trying to be on point and lecture. It's a distraction. I don't want that kind of thing. So they got a thing called how long this is cool. How long you want participants to wait between sending messages. This stops the machine gun shit. This stops the off-topic interactions between two people who just the rest of us, man, will never not. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that because I encourage people to have conversations and talk about things that are important to them. I just think it's rude to do it when somebody else is on stage and has the microphone and is trying to help people. It's just life. We do it. I've done it myself.
Well, that
how many times have you gone to a movie and someone comes up and you sit there talking to your girlfriend until everybody around you goes, "Will you shut up and let us enjoy the movie?" And you wake up and you didn't realize you were doing it. It's normal. But you should get shot over it.
Well, so that brings me back to can you turn it on and off? Because if you can turn it on and off, and
no, but but turning it on and off, Peter, means you got to be keeping your eye on it, and that you're already distracted by then. It doesn't work.
No, not turn the delay on and off. Just turn the whole chat, have the chat off.
No, I don't want to have to worry about that. I really don't want to have to worry about that.
Okay.
I have a few other changes I want to make, and I want to go over them with you too. I couldn't have a better panel today.
Okay.
I've got Tina, who so fiercely agrees with me that she got angry. Thank you, Tina, for that. I saw it on your face. No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I'm sorry that
frustrating.
Yeah,
The
welcome to my world.
4 or 5 weeks, so frustrating.
Welcome to my world.
It's will you all just be quiet?
Yeah.
Well, Mitch, here's the beauty of this. What other channel creator would be soliciting ideas from their people. Could you imagine Dr. Barry saying, let me get some of my people on to have a discussion of how I can improve my channel or make a change? Do you imagine that?
This is your channel too.
Right.
I mean, I don't consider. That's why the comment that I got this morning. Well, if you're going to do that, why don't you just make standalone videos? You know, and just lecture. Well, how do you miss the point? How do you be so dense? I'll tell you how. You're an example of the problem. You're not listening to a word I say because you're so distracted by the chat. That's how. Does that mean I have to change everything I do because you can't pay attention in class? My answer to you is go away. Stop bothering the people here. And it's not just me that they're bothering. It's the Tinas. And how many people, Tina, that I've heard from with the same message as you?
I thought about emailing you, but I thought, gee whiz, I'm sure this man is being bombarded with
all kinds. I've lost subscribers. I've lost followers, and with regret, they've said I just can't do that anymore. And I had to make a change, or I had to either quit. I don't want to quit, so I'm trying to do it in a way. I'm trying to do it in a way where the people who can't understand will never understand, who aren't smart enough to understand, will just leave us alone. And if I have to force them to leave us alone by setting all these things every day, I'll do it. So let me get back to this.
I don't know how much clearer you can be.
Well, that's the irony of it. I can't. There's no way I can be clear if nobody's listening.
So what's that setting now? A delay?
It's a catch-22. You know what that is? It's a catch-22. All right. This is called slow mode. Slow mode. It says any user can only put one chat entry every so often.
Oh, wow.
Every 60 seconds.
Is that the Peter Cutler button?
Well, I think now, slow mode used to mean something different. See, slow mode used to mean how fast the whole entire chat would accept chat. So it would slow it down so it had time on the screen to read it. Well, they decided that was useless. Mm-hmm. So they changed the meaning of it. And the meaning of it, as they define it in here, says slow mode limits how often people can participate by letting you set a time between
comments,
message sends. Yeah. So I can put it any number of seconds here. It defaults to 60 seconds. Now, is there anything that anybody has? Would anybody be? What's what I'm looking for?
Well,
inconvenient. No, let me finish. Would anybody be inconvenienced? Is there a situation where if you had to wait 60 seconds rather, before you put your next thing in the chat, is there any situation in which that would be intolerable and unreasonable?
Not for me.
Not for me, because I don't put much at all.
No, I stayed through your whole live stream yesterday, Rick, and put 4 entries in the chat. You could have put 4 hours between entries for me, and it would have worked. and that one setting right there hits the root of the problem. It takes the chit chat. It takes the chit chat out, the back and forth, like you and Babs did. Now, neither you nor Babs were really being rude to me. One of you may have asked the other a question. In places like Zoom and other things, they have meeting rooms. When 2 of the different participants in the seminar decide they need to they need to go back and forth about this, they take it out of the classroom into a meeting room and they resolve it and talk it out and then come back to the meeting room, but they don't disrupt the meeting room, and that's what's happening.
There you go. Go get a room.
Yeah, get a room. That's great, Tina. I'm going to use that from here on out. Hey, so-and-so, get a room.
Go get a room.
That's great. I love it. I love it. I knew this was going to turn out right and productive this morning, even though I came into it all pissed off and ready to quit again after a sleepless night of wondering, how do I tactfully handle this and still have some friends.
Mitch, sleep well tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I still have some friends on the other side. So I think 60-second slow mode is not a bad idea. So here's what I did. I want to see what happens.
It's a great
I
idea.
have made this subscribers only.
Mm-hmm.
Still a live chat, just checked. I've made it, you have to be a subscriber for a full day. And I said that when it comes to putting entries in the chat, you're limited to 1 a minute. If that's not enough for you, you're not listening. That's all. You're not listening. I'm going to hit save.
Great.
Okay.
I want
I'm
to see what
okay
happens.
with- I'm
Okay,
with that.
look at what just came up on the chat.
What did it say?
Slow mode is on.
Oh,
Send a message every 1 minute. Old Guy Carnivore turned on subscriber only mode. Only channel subscribers of 24 hours or longer can send messages. Thank you, YouTube. Now-
Lovely.
Now, I can do that, and I can still turn off the whole mess, but I don't want to have to pay that close attention to the chat. When the chat, the number of entries, Bill Cook, Bill Cook. See, Bill Cook's got 3 entries in a row here. I don't know what he's trying to do, but hi, Billy's waving. John B. Yard says test. Yeah, you can all try it now. You may find out that you've been unsubscribed against your will. YouTube, Rick, how many times have people said to you? How many times, Rick? And people said to you, let me get this back here and get you guys back big again. Let's see, that would be right here. There you go. How many times have people said to you, I got unsubscribed from your channel?
I get that all the time.
Every YouTuber gets it all the time. We don't know why. I find myself unsubscribed to channels all the time. I have to resubscribe.
I've had people email me complaining, why did you unsubscribe me from your channel? I said, I didn't do it. I don't unsubscribe anybody.
Yeah, we can't unsubscribe you. We can only hide you, but we can't unsubscribe you. We can't keep you from watching our stuff. Nobody can. I can keep you from using my stuff on your channel by hiding you. Did you know that, Rick?
No.
Okay,
What'd you
for
say?
example, let's suppose you're a guy that does reaction videos, or you're a guy that has live streaming. You want to show my video on your live stream. I've given everybody permission to do that now. But if I've hidden you as a user, you can't do that anymore. That's YouTube's is so complicated. There's so many. How many times have you tried to find a particular setting in that YouTube studio and almost pulled your hair out?
Well, they had the advanced menu, and that sometimes disappeared, and then I have to keep clicking and moving around, because I usually do it through OBS. I go to YouTube Studio through OBS, and then there's an advanced menu. If I don't click that, then I miss it.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the ones that you use during the live stream.
Right. Before.
I'm talking about the one that you use to administer your channel, your previous videos, and set up a new one. You don't do that through OBS. You only do that
I do
while you're live.
online. Yeah,
Okay.
when I set up my live, because it'll take you to YouTube Studio.
Yeah,
it has that little, that little button.
No, you have to use StreamYard or whatever. I don't know. Is that what you're using, StreamYard?
No, I don't use StreamYard.
Okay, you do it. You do it the YouTube way.
Yeah.
See, I go into StreamYard
That's
and
different,
create the live stream, and it creates the YouTube live stream. And after I get done uploading the thumbnail and giving it a title, make sure the description is right and all that stuff, and putting the time in, I say create the live stream in StreamYard, and then I go back to the YouTube studio, and it's there where it wasn't there before. John BDR question, does the chat setting make sense for Sundays and your Thursday night member chats? No, you're right, John, and that's a great question, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Sundays and Thursdays are going to be, I said this first, maybe in context it'll make sense to you now. Anytime I've got a panel, the chat's just going to be open to everybody. Subscribers, non-subscribers. There's no time limit. You can chat all you want. Have fun. It's a party. Of course, you're not going to be interrupting us. It's like nothing in the chat right now is really going to interrupt Peter, you, Peter, Rick, Tina, and me. We're doing our thing. I just happened to see, just some sheer force of habit, saw the QQQs over there, and that's a very relevant question. No, there's a time to party, and there's a time to stick to the subject and get the help. And Sunday mornings are not one of those, supposed to be one of those serious times, and they're going to stay this way. Anybody can chat. Anybody can chat as much as they want. You can talk about the silliest of inconsequential things. Why? Because none of us on the screen are probably paying much attention to it anyway. So just don't get.
See it.
Yeah,
I can't even see any. I can't see the chat when I'm on.
So
No, and
don't.
and that's perfectly fine.
Perfect. Yeah. Don't get your panties in a wad if I don't say hi to you. That's all. That's all. Just. Some people get so upset if they think they're being ignored. How dare they? Well, you can't have it both ways. I think I go overboard in trying to acknowledge people and make them feel welcome.
I can testify to that. I am never ignored on Mitch's channel.
No. And sometimes it's not pleasant either, but
hey, whatever's true is true. I can take it.
Well,
my biggest complaint is that some people don't tell me how they really feel, and then I have to guess. At least on your channel, I know how you feel, and I said that yesterday.
Yeah, and I did watch your stream yesterday, and I was entertained by it, and I learned a shitload. I learned
from your channel all the time.
I'm so disappointed in some of the people I thought were my friends, because the things even if they know I'm watching, they still say these things. They're just inappropriate and mean, and I don't know what they're trying to prove or why anybody would go on and say those things. I don't go on anybody's channel and say things about other people. I don't talk behind people's back. Maybe people just can't tolerate bold-faced honesty.
I agree.
Saying what's on your mind. And trying to do it in a way where, if you can do nothing else, convince the listener that you're trying to be helpful and constructive. You're not trying to damage and destroy. I don't ever go after anybody. I don't do reaction videos trying to make a fool of the person.
I don't either.
I just don't comment on it. So many people, that's what they do. And people like conflict because conflict is drama and drama sells.
I don't like drama.
No, well, I don't like it, but I seem to be immersed in it all the time because of who I am and my personality and my intolerance for bullshit. But that's why you and I, that spectrum I was talking about of addiction? Well, there's a spectrum in every personality trait has a spectrum. And you and I, Rick, are like a seesaw. I don't care. You name the spectrum.
Yeah.
Rick's on one side, Mitch is on the other side, and we're going like this.
Yep.
Because that's just the way people are. I happen to be an example that is 100% polar opposite of Rick's personality and everything else about Rick. That doesn't mean one of us is better or right or wrong. And it's that misconception that we have about everything that causes people to come out in public and say to an audience of people they don't know that dark chocolate helps insulin resistance. A statement so
nonsense,
out of left field, unrelated to this topic of our conversation.
But Mitch, you even acknowledged to Ernie Etch or whatever his name was, or Ernie, that this is him just repeating what he hears, right? And he's
just trying to be helpful. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Ernie. I'm just saying that this is why we have the problem is that everybody thinks, jumps on the shiny new thing. Ooh,
Yeah.
candy. You know, ooh,
Yeah.
shiny, bam, you know, and forgets everything else. And what's happening these days, and Tina pointed it out right away, that the trend is go off in a new direction every 3 days because so-and-so now says you need to be doing this and that. When Rick knows that just stick to the thing if it works for you.
You know what?
If you finally
That's right.
learn, if you finally learn that your carb addiction went away, you stopped craving, for example, blueberries or chocolate, then that's the most important thing. And another thing I'm tired of while we're airing our things is I'm tired of hearing about smoking cigars. Rick, the topic came up yesterday in your live stream, cigars.
Yep.
Kiltsy. After the morning, I kind of went off on him for talking about eating at the Four Seasons and all that tasty, fabulous food and how that was going to trigger the shit out of everybody because Kilt says it's okay. He came back and he says, and nobody gets past me. This is the point. Nothing goes past me anymore. He says, Dr. Nelson, is cigar smoking good for you? And Nelson says, no, Dr. Kilt, cigar smoking is not good for you. What the hell was that? And where did it come from? And then later on in the same stream, he says, is carb addiction a real problem? He said, I don't think so. The mind is the master. You need to master. No, carbohydrate is not a matter of mind over matter. It is a physiological and chemical response triggered by your subconscious animal brain. And when you think, if you think you're the master over your subconscious mind, you're crazy. You are the master over your conscious mind, which is just a tiny, weak, flimsy little thing trying to get its way with the big guy in charge. That is that beast I keep talking about.
Let me tell you, Mitch,
That's inside
if that chocolate bar is in my house, my conscious mind has no chance. I don't care how much I try. It's going to disappear. It's going to disappear.
The thing is that there's a reality. There is a whole school of thought about the power of positive thinking. I know I used to lecture on it, and I wrote on it. It's true and it works, but for reasons way different than people think. The mechanisms are there, and they're easily understandable if you look long enough and think hard enough. But it's not going to do a goddamn thing to help. Excuse my French. Sometimes I get descriptive. It's not going to do a thing to change the basic physiology and programming that's so deep in our operating systems that our conscious mind is so far away it can never even get to it. These are the things I try to teach. I may be wrong about some of them. Rick, you may be wrong about some of the things that you talk about.
I'm wrong about a lot of things.
Maybe we're not wrong. Maybe it just doesn't. The things that we talk about apply to us.
That's right.
And we think everybody's the same, so if it applies to me, it must apply to you. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And that's where I finally decided, got to talk about this addiction thing on a spectrum. Got to try to steer this more towards solving that problem. Because solving that problem is where Carnivore is the best tool for everybody, let's say, over a 90 on the carb addiction spectrum. But somebody, and we all know people like this, well, Break is probably one of them, that I could walk into his house and with a box of donuts, leave them with Rick, and they'd still be there tomorrow.
Or
No,
they
he
might be
would
at the
feed
canal.
him to the.
Or in the canal, you'd feed them to the ducks. You'd feed them to the ducks. Or the iguanas. You know, that. How could a rule of behavior when it comes to food that applies to me, why would Rick have to even concern himself with that. He wouldn't. It's not applicable. So I think we need to start defining this spectrum and call it the carb addiction spectrum, a term I have not heard used. That's the thing that blows my mind. Here's this huge problem. It's so obvious. It's out there in front of all of us. Nobody's talking about it. I hear Ken Berry talk about addiction once in a blue moon.
So what's Rick? Rick's a 0 on the carb addiction?
Yeah, Rick is a 0 on the carb addiction spectrum.
He is the definition of a 0.
And on a scale of 1 to 100, Peter, you and I are 105.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty much a 0 or 1. I mean, I take that little candy bar that I get, and I have my little snack baggies, plastic baggies. When I get home from the store with it, I break it up into several chunks.
I can't believe you.
And then I have a basket, and I put my little baggies in there. And each morning, I grab my little bag to eat with my coffee. It's not even like 50 calories and like 2 grams of carbs, and I'm done.
Yeah, that's for me. That would just be me eating a bunch of little baggies.
Yeah, but see, that's what we have to figure out, Tina. We have, you know how they have the Myers-Briggs test to figure out what your personality type is, all of this other stuff. Before a psychiatrist can treat anything, he needs to know of all the different spectrums, the spectrum autism, spectrum of all the different mental disorders. What's the severity? Where do you lie? That's what we need. That's the way we need to treat all of this metabolic disease. It's all, we have to admit, number one, it's all caused by a different level of addiction in different people. It's the same thing in alcohol. Some people can have a drink a day. 1 drink a day, and they're not alcoholics. And they're just fine. They live long lives. Some of them live to be the oldest people that, some of these 110-year-olds. I have my drink a day, and I smoke a pack a day, and I eat bacon and eggs, Wow. Imagine that. Some people can't. Some people, they can't eat just one. I mean, literally. They'd lose the bet every time. These people need to play by different rules, so we need to define the level first before you can know what. And it has to be almost like an individual prescription written for everybody based on 100 different factors. If they would diagnose this with as much detail as they try to diagnose diseases, so they know what drug to prescribe, which is not the greatest idea.
I used to think that I was addicted to bread and things like that, but it was after being on this way of eating for now, gosh,
well,
a year and 10 months.
You might have been addicted to bread, but if you can manage to control that addiction long enough to 2 or 3 weeks of carnivore is enough to cut by 90% the pull of the addiction it has on you.
I have no interest in eating bread.
I mean, I couldn't pass up bread. I mean, I couldn't even pass up a bakery, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I was the same way.
I would be driving home from my office, and they had Einstein's bagels right in the way. Mm-hmm. I mean, I couldn't go past it. My daughter can't drive past a Dairy Queen. Her car's on autopilot. It starts pulling it. You think she wants to?
I feel very blessed that I don't have that degree of, I gotta have it,
Well, I don't have that anymore, and neither does Peter. And that's because we found out how to cure it. And the reason that you found your cure, and Peter found his, and I found mine, is the joy of life that I'm trying to share with people in spite of all the crap they keep throwing at me and obstacles and getting in the way and distracting me and everything. And it's frustrating to me because I'm not getting paid for this, really. It's laughable. Yeah, Rick, you're definitely not getting paid.
No, that's true. What I would like to see I like this idea of this whole carb addiction spectrum, and it definitely is zero, because the only thing that tempted me last weekend, I went by the canal and I got an iguana. That was a temptation.
But that wasn't an addiction.
Well,
You're not really addicted. You don't go to bed with saying, "Oh God, I got to have an iguana at 2 a.m. Put your clothes on and go out there with a spear."
No,
That's
true.
addiction. That's what addiction does, because that's what addiction used to do to me. I wake up at 3 a.m. I can't keep the shit in the house, so I got nothing in the house. I have a craving for ice cream that'd knock your socks off. I know there's a 24-hour Walgreens about a mile away. I get dressed. And the whole time I'm getting dressed, I'm saying, "What the hell are you doing, Mitch? You don't need ice cream. You don't want ice cream." But I don't stop. And then I go out and get in my car at 2 or 3 in the morning saying, "You're out of control, Mitch." I'm trying to talk myself out of going to the drugstore. Impossible. I go to the drugstore. "Okay, Mitch, you're just going to buy a pint." And I used to like Baskin Robbins or Ben & Jerry's especially. My favorite Ben & Jerry's flavor was a Cherry Garcia. It was vanilla ice cream with real cherries and dark chocolate chunks in it. Ah, God. So I go to the thing, and
He
I
talks
see
like an addict.
I see. Well, it's true. I see. I remember how it had a hold on me. I see the Cherry Garcia over here, and of course, it's a twofer.
Can't buy one.
Can't buy one, two for $4.99. Or I gotta buy two. And then I look down and I see a half a gallon of Bluebell, which is good ice cream too, for $2.29. And I say, well, a quart of Ben & Jerry's for $5, or a whole half gallon of Bluebell, and surely I can just eat some of it and then put the rest away for another day. Even though I've proven to myself 100 times, it ain't going to happen. And my subconscious would win that negotiation. Oh, yeah. Got to buy the half a gallon of Bluebell. Well, they're really cheap, Mitch. Maybe you should pick up two. This sale might not be on tomorrow. And I go on. I head home with a half a gallon of ice cream. I have a little custard dish. Got to hold maybe 4 ounces. And I spoon out one custard dish full. And I put the lid back and put it in the freezer. Okay. You're in control, Mitch. My subconscious is back there laughing its ass off. Just laughing its ass off. Just down in front of the TV in the middle of the night. I start eating it. I get through that in a real hurry. Now I'm on autopilot. By the time I'm done, 3/4 of that half gallon of ice cream is gone.
Wow.
I finally have eaten so much sugar that I'm almost sick. Which finally turns off my appetite temporarily. For 10 or 15 minutes, maybe, I get a break from the naggings, or wanting more and more. I did learn eventually. I repeated that same scenario over the years so many times that I finally, in my quest for reality, said, "Okay, Mitch, you're just an addict. You're out of control. You have no control. You're like an alcoholic or a heroin user. If you don't figure out some way to control this, it's going to keep doing it, no matter how much you want not to." And that's when I started becoming serious initially about keto and real low carb and everything, but still trying to get rid of it. And I finally discovered that carnivore was the answer for an addict like me. A 10 out of 10 on the spectrum. I would watch other people who could eat a cookie and put the box away and not understand how come I couldn't. That's not imagined. That's very real. I can understand why you can't imagine why I couldn't. And I yelled at you one day. I told you to shut the F up, Rick. I said somebody who's not a carb addict has no place or can't give advice to people who are, or even understand. Because I don't understand what the deal is with alcohol. I don't understand it. I have no point of reference.
Well,
I never crave
Rick has no point of reference on
carb craving.
No, that, but also he doesn't have any reference on alcohol because he doesn't like alcohol and he doesn't like cigarettes or any smoking.
Rick is one of the very few people that has no traces of an addictive personality.
Right. Yeah, it's very strange.
Which means,
yeah.
it actually means something, Rick. It doesn't happen by accident. It actually means something. It means more than likely in your ancestral past, if you went back far enough, you would not find very much famine. You would not find very much any reason to cause your ancestors' subconscious to work so hard to impel them to get off their ass and get off the rock and go out and hunt. They lived probably in areas where food wasn't that hard to get. Their ancestors didn't have to hunt mammoth in icy cold climates. And those people, of course, in their programming are very less likely to become addicted to the survival food, the alternative energy source, which is carbohydrate. It's not that big a mystery. What just astounds me is how few people put two and two together in this world anymore, and how the damage being done to our human brains by the poisoning, by this shit diet that we're all on, means that the computers are breaking. How can you expect the computers to come up with the right answer when they can't even run because somebody poured maple syrup over them? You know, it's just... And to me, it's the most logical thing in the world. And I want to spread this, call it a discovery or whatever. I tried 20-some years ago with a book that nobody bought and still doesn't want to read because it makes people think. People don't want to think. They want to be just told. They don't want to know what they need to learn. Just don't tell me. Just tell me what I need to do. And we have no shortage of people in this world that will just say, ka-ching, fine. Here's the solution. That'll be $9.99. Thank you. And that's what we've descended into. And we've given ourselves thousands of distractions like TikTok and 30-second and YouTube Shorts and social media so that we can be distracted with 1,000 or 10,000 different things that we need to consider and think about in the course of the day, which, of course, is going to negate any pondering, relaxing, critically thinking. And we're, as an animal, we can't live that way. And Rick, you know cats. You know. I'm sure you know cat behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure you know how easily it is to startle a cat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you know that if you abuse a cat and continually abuse a cat, you will permanently destroy that cat. It will never be socialized again. They will always be jumpy, cowering in a corner, hiding somewhere. They won't let a human being come near them. I don't care how old they get. Once they've experienced that abuse, we humans are the same way. I've experienced that kind of abuse from a bad marriage, of always being blamed for everything that wasn't my fault. I cower in a corner now. I hide. I'll never get over that. I understand it. I try to work around it. But that happens for a very natural physiological. It's like self-programming. If a cattle begin to cower because they're protecting themselves. It's a survival mechanism. If it goes on long enough, it becomes a part of what they call epigenetics. And epigenetics are the things that are passed outside of the gene, outside of your normal genetics. Epigenetics control how the genes are actually transcribed, which genes are used. And that's where behavior and instinctual behavior. I wrote chapters about this in my book, and what I wrote back then is I'm more firmly convinced that all of our behavior, all of our instincts are the sum total of the experiences of our ancestors that helped them survive. When you think about it that way, you can say, okay, why is Rick such a non-carb addict, and why is Mitch and Peter such a raving carb addict? And the answer is, it's all in the history of what helped our ancestors survive. The problem with that is that you're only half, every generation, you become the sum total of two people's wildly different epigenetics. And the whole world is getting diluted down to where in another 10, 20 generations, there'll be no white people, black people, brown people. Everybody will be a nice caramel color. And all of those adaptations that we have will be so diluted and melted down from being divided in half every generation and mixed with somebody else's that nobody will know what or have any way of knowing what the right thing for them to do, because nobody will know which of their traits is dominant and important and which is just going along for the ride. But everybody else starts to look the same because but that's just nature. I don't want to get off on a big lecture today. God, it's already 20 minutes to 9. I'm still going. I ought to talk about that one day, because it's a great way to look at things. We need to see, that's what I do, Rick, Tina, Peter. That's what I do. I start talking and dig into another year-long quest to figure out how something works that I learned, and I have all that in my head, and it's why I can't be distracted. I can't be distracted when I'm trying to stay on point, because I go to one point, will remind me of another, and off I go. And that's why the chat is killing me so much, and the distractions of people not listening to me. All right, anyway, been there, talked about that. It's hour and 40 minutes already. Wow.
Well, it's been a good hour and 40 minutes.
Well,
Thank you.
what did we accomplish today? Any changes? Any revelations? I don't know.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. Most important revelation is, this is how I'm going to make the chat non-distracting or to me. The main thing is I'm going to put it in slow mode. You can make one chat entry every 60 seconds.
Okay.
Fine. I would ask, if you got nothing to contribute to the conversation and you just want to ask so-and-so a personal question, that you do it in somewhere else. But I'll never stop all that. I'll never stop all that, because of all the people who never heard a word I said today. See, that's the problem. You keep trying to be reasonable, but if they don't listen to what you say, you're not changing any minds. It's a catch-22. It really is. We're going to turn the live chat on, turn the replay off. I'm not going to put the chat up on the screen like it is now. I'm going to just stop using that. I'm going to use this. I hit the wrong button. This button here. And if I want to put the chat on the screen for any reason, I can show off an individual. I can show off an individual chat like this and put it on the bottom of the screen, or I can use this button and put last few entries of the chat overlaid on top in a transparency. But that's
that will de-emphasize chat a bit.
Well, it will, and
which is good. Which is what you want to do, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but if I'm still distracted by it, I have to close the window on my screen and totally ignore it, and that's your job. That's why I have Peter, my moderator. Right. What I want you to do is, I'm done jumping on questions. It's not working out.
Mitch, I didn't even like doing that.
Okay.
And I don't even want to do that. If you want to answer your question, then you answer it, but
No,
for me to jump in, it's like in the middle of you talking about something. It's crazy.
Oh, Peter, you're overdriving your audio. But at any rate, what I would like you to do,
yeah,
if you got time and if you can do it, is just make a note of do like Kilty's. At a certain point, I'll say, "We got any questions?" And if you can do that, Ellen used to do that for me. But if it's too cumbersome, we'll figure out some other way to do it. But I can't just be interrupted and stop everything to answer a question that has nothing to do with what we're talking about from somebody who just came into the stream. Will be insulted if I ignore them, because who cares what's going on before I got there? I'm here now, and my question is important. And if you don't answer it, then you don't care about me. That people think that way. You ever go to a Ken Berry live stream and expect to get your question answered the instant you put it up? You never hear from him. You never hear from. He can't. It's impossible. When I get the amount of chat dribble that I get every day, it's impossible for anybody to address all that. Comments, remember, hours a day I go over to comments on the videos and live streams that people put to aggravate myself, like the 2 comments I showed you earlier, and say to myself, you would never have asked that question if you had been listening. You're proving my point. You have to say that silly statement because you haven't heard a word out of my mouth for the past 5 days. Catch-22. So, no, Peter, forget the questions. I'll tell you what, I keep trying to come up with alternative ways. And trivial questions, what percentage of fat? What percentage of my diet should be fat? How many times have you seen that question in somebody's live stream? Well, Christ, if you don't know that by now, you're starting in the wrong forum. Go back and watch 30 or 40 or 50 Ken Berry videos, Anthony Chaby videos. Get your answers. Don't come in here knowing nothing. So I'm hoping that the fact that only subscribers can ask questions or be in the chat. I'm going to stop asking for questions. I don't want to hear no more QQQs. Okay. You can make comments, make them on topic. You can ask questions on topic. You can put QQQ in there so it attracts attention, and it may or may not attract mine. But I am going to try to stay on topic so I don't keep changing rabbit holes, because then I never finish any thought. Peter, just get rid of the trolls. If somebody comes in there and says one thing or another that's just inappropriate, remind them. I don't want to keep throwing people out. I don't want to keep hiding people, getting rid of them. That's not my job.
There's been very few.
Yeah, I got rid of most of them already, I think. And I want to talk about things that are real and things that can help, because that's the only reason I do this, because it makes me feel good. I do this because I would hate to have everything I've figured out that works just die when I die. I mean, I'll say this and then we'll end it. And this is how one thought leads to another topic. There's a question asked by everybody, especially the religious versus the creation versus the evolution argument. They say, well, none of that evolution makes any sense, and because if living long enough to reproduce is so important, why is it important that anybody live up to be over 40 years old? It serves no purpose in nature, they say. Can possibly serve no purpose in evolution. That makes sense, doesn't it? How could anything
Yeah.
that you do when you're 40 years old, if you've already had your kids, how can that affect the future generations in any way? How can anything that you do in your life affect future generations when you've already... Now, think about women. Women are born with all their eggs already. So if all your eggs are already there when you're born and they already have your genetics in them, how is anything you do in your lifetime? Well, you know, if the egg already has the DNA you were born, how does anything ever change? It's a good question, isn't it? Maybe I ought to let you all ponder that, because there's a real answer to that.
That could be a good topic for discussion.
Yeah,
in a
and
debate.
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
And that puzzled me 40, 50 years ago. I was wondering, how come? Because that doesn't make sense. Based on the science that everybody was talking about genetics, I said, well, it's impossible for there to ever have been any meaningful changes, because the only possible changes in a man's DNA that he passes on to his offspring could happen up until the time that the sperm is created, which is all the time. A woman would never contribute any changes. And nobody would contribute any changes when they got past 30 years old. So what's all this wisdom crap? And how does it get propelled forth into the future? And I know the answer. And we'll talk about that. It's a fascinating subject. So it makes me sit here and say, I don't want to take this to the grave with me, because how do I propel it forward so it can be useful and make changes to the behavior of the future generations? The answer is obvious to that, but it's why human beings have progressed and animals haven't. We do one thing that they don't do. So talk about that. It's very interesting, very interesting. It shows you how my mind works. At any rate, guys, great stream. Great stream. Peter, I can't tell you anything else other than I'm not going just don't worry about the chat that much, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to make these settings. Sunday and Thursday night are like open house. Bring your party. BYOB, you know. Come on, have a good time. Nothing's off topic. Nothing's off topic.
Thanks for letting me in today, Mitch.
Tina, let you in. You'd have a hard time getting me to keep you out. We love you. We love you.
See ya.
Take care. Rick, always
Yes.
good to see you, man. Good
Yeah,
to see you. Thanks
and-
for coming.
And I'll tell you though, there are changes coming to my channel too, so I'm not all about just being silly.
No, well, you know, we all learn and we all change, I guess. I think you're doing a good job. Your channel is growing. I was flattered yesterday at the fact that you basically gave me credit for
Well,
inspiring you to do the YouTube thing. And
That's right. And the other thing is, I spent a lot of detail yesterday to go through everything that everybody asked me, so there would be no doubt. You know, it's like, well, did Mitch say this and say? I said, no,
Yeah.
I covered it all 7 hours. That matter
Oh wow,
is
were you
over.
on that long? I kind of bailed on you around noon. I think I wanted to go eat.
It was 7 hours total. I even related the other experience I had with a couple, the other YouTuber that was very famous, and we went through the whole thing. So now if they say, what happened with you and Mitch? I said, watch my live stream.
Watch the
It's all
replay.
there.
Thank you. And you know, you're not going. You're certainly not going to be the focus of my channel to find fault with you. No, I wouldn't do it.
Well, I can tell you one thing that Rick's really good about, Mitch, is if you tell him something that you don't want him to, Rick will listen.
Well, I know that. I know
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
I appreciate that. You too. You're the same way.
Yeah.
You're the same way. I guess
And
we all
have
are.
strong personalities. That's why we are who we are.
Not me.
You're a pussycat. You're a pussycat.
Oh man, come on. Let me fix something here. This is better. There you go. Yeah, I'm a. Rush Limbaugh used to call himself a lovable little fuzzball. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, you know who I think, I can't watch carnivore YouTube videos anymore. Just can't, anybody's. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they talk. I can't watch Chafee. I just can't listen anymore. I can't read other people's books like Kiltz does. He reads everybody's books. I have never let anybody teach me a thing in my life. I've always learned everything I know the hard way on my own, one fact at a time that I, put through a validity test. I don't want to read other people's conclusions. Most of them are wrong, agendized, opinionated. And even if they are right, my mind gets so full up with all these different things that all conflict each other. How am I supposed to know what's real? I'd rather spend the time being curious. I have the mind that can do that. So I've learned everything on my own. Everything from, well, I did let some flight instructor teach me how to fly an airplane, of course. But nobody ever taught me how a computer works. Nobody ever taught me computer programming. Nobody ever taught me how to build a model helicopter. I never, I may have gotten a few tips from a YouTube video, but I never went to school. I never sat in a classroom. School bored the shit out of me.
Me too.
Yeah, and the world doesn't know how to handle people like us because we're not credentialed. We don't have the. No, I learned how to build on my own. I ended up getting a Class A general contractor's license. Mm-hmm. I'm licensed to build skyscrapers in the state of Florida.
Right.
I passed the test. All those things, I never went to school. I don't need to sit through somebody. When I was in the computer business, they'd have these PowerPoint. They'd have seminars and they had a PowerPoint presentation. I'd sit through 3 minutes of it. Say, can't stand it. Can't stand it. That's not how you teach, by just reading off bullet points.
That's not how I teach.
You have to teach by coming up with an understandable analogy that your student can relate things to. That's how I try to teach. Digging up some of these analogies sometimes, some of them work, some of them don't, but I didn't read about it. I didn't study. I never study.
Me either.
I just, curiosity, taking in everything. Anything that seems like it's interesting, well, what do you make of that? And how does that fit in? Okay.
Learn by doing.
Yeah, and that kind of thinking, wow, it just started to pour rain here. Holy cow. They were calling for it today. At any rate, I don't want to get into this. I'm trying to say goodbye to you guys.
Okay.
We'll pick up again tomorrow morning. Nobody has to worry about this being just a lecture and the teacher standing up here with a ruler to smack you across the knuckles. It's not going to be that way. Stop talking about stuff like that, my friends. And I mean, I consider you all my friends, and nobody likes to be criticized nonstop by their friends.
Well,
I never criticized you.
No, you haven't, Rick.
Yeah, and hopefully all what we talked about today will help a lot.
Think about the irony of this scene on my screen right now. Look who's here. Peter.
The two
and
people
Rick.
you almost
the two people that I wanted to slit their throats and have them out of my life forever.
But Mitch, I hope you don't mind me sharing one thing that was private about us, right? Remember, you sent me an email saying I prefer that you do not come on to my show. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I remember it.
So I was kicked off. Informally, you didn't block me, but you asked me, like, I prefer you just don't come back. And then I kept sneaking in there, like I was sneaking in, you know what I mean? And being kind of quiet. I would make a couple comments here and there, but not a lot.
But think of the irony. Yeah. Think of the irony of who I'm on the screen with right now. And that's got to tell you something about the fact that I may not always get to the truth in the first glance, but sooner or later, I'm gonna learn the reality of everything. And I really got to know both of you guys from the clues that I was getting from you. And you are the kind of guys that I want in my life. Now, when you're a personality, and we're all personalities, no doubt about it. Each of us are personality. We're not like everybody else. We're all basically ducks. We're all strange ducks. We don't fit in. We never fit in. We never fit in. We never ever fit in with the masses, and we weren't quarterback on our football team. We weren't the big man on campus. We weren't the we're actually misfits in society, oddballs, and we share that in common. And we also share our views and our experiences and what we will tolerate and what we won't. But we're all reasonable. That's the big thing. The word reasonable. Reasonable. My ex-wife was not reasonable. She was mentally ill. I used to tell her, you can't reason with the unreasonable.
Right.
You can't talk in logical terms with the illogical.
Yeah.
It's a frustrating adventure. And if she used to accuse me of she used to provoke me for hours on end until I finally, frustration just caused me to smack a wall or something. And then she would say, she was a passive aggressive of the highest order. We need to get you some help, Mitch. You have anger issues. She would say, after she poked me and prodded me with a hot poker and pointy things for an hour, it's like abusing your animal and then say, I got to get rid of this cat. This cat's got some emotional problems. Yeah, the emotional problem is you abusive asshole, You can't, you just can't live that way. But, I didn't even see here. I don't even remember where I started down this road. I'm just tired now. Been 2 full hours. How many people are still here?
I just got to work, so I got to go.
Yeah, you go, Rick. You go, Milton.
Yep.
Give him a pet for me.
Oh, I will.
And I will, well, go already, will you? Jesus Christ, get out of here. Come on, hit the button.
All right.
Don't make me hit the button. See you, Rick.
All right. Have a great day.
You too, buddy. All right. Peter's still in there. Let me get rid of Peter. He can't find the button. That was great. Thanks for coming, everybody. I hope I clarified a few things. Come back tomorrow morning and see how well all of this works, and whether I just want to be happy, and maybe it won't work. I don't know. All I know is that I'm tired of trying to figure it out. I see Jerry, CB. How you guys doing? Great you were here. Great you were here. Robbie Autry. So many people. I didn't say hi to everybody. Didn't declare a winner this morning. The stuff just needs to be done. I hope we can put it to bed and not talk about it anymore. Let's do that. So until tomorrow, 7 a.m. Still early enough to have a great day. So take the rest of the day off and eat meat.